Hey guys, welcome back to a video on Wrath of the Druids Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Today I want to talk about the DLC and what I think about it. So I'm going to review this in three different aspects, okay? So the first aspect is going to be in terms of story. Now, I think the story starts out quite slowish and kind of does, typical Assassin's Creed thing, like, oh, go here, then go there, do this, do that, the whole thing. I must say that it's pretty average for the whole beginning part, but the end part really ramps up, and it surprises you with some really cool boss fights towards the end of the DLC. Not gonna lie, I feel like they made the end part, like, with all the efforts, and then they just felt like they had to add something in the beginning just to, like, lead up to it. So it really felt like it was going so slowly, and then, boom! Just like story and then like the boss fights and you're like, what? This is amazing. Like, why wasn't this at the beginning? I wish the whole expansion was like this. Like, it was so cool. Like, I was so into it right there at that moment. Now, the second aspect I want to talk about is the gameplay. Now, is the gameplay different in Wrath of the Druids? Not really. We still have the Order, but it's like the children of Danu that we're hunting down. The only major change is that we have these new kind of trade posts that bring in a currency. It almost feels like we're playing a mobile game at this point because we're trying to bring in currency to get special stuff to buy things from trading stuff, and when you buy things, you increase your renown. So it's a very weird system to adopt, honestly. You'd think that they would follow more of a term of the storyline, like, oh, like as you go on in terms of the story, Dublin goes up. But no, it's like more like every time you buy something, Dublin goes up. It's confusing. And apart from that, we have these new kind of king's requests, like missions from the king, which come in the form of a pigeon, and you go to these different pigeon posts around the world of Ireland, and at those posts you can get a bunch of different quests that can send you out to do some stuff. I kind of like these things because at the end game where you have like nothing to kind of kill, these actually give you something to do. Like, okay, cool, I'm going to go to this place here, there's a bunch of people, I can test my new build, I can keep playing the game. Whereas in normal Assassin's Creed Valhalla, once you've finished everything, it's really hard to find stuff unless you're going on like a river raid, which you have to spend a lot of time on your boat, so it's not really entirely fun. I don't know if anybody else really likes the river raid stuff, like going on a boat constantly, stopping at place after place to like kill everybody and then get back on the boat. I guess that's how a Viking is in a way. So for a Viking game, they get the job done there, but I prefer to just like run into a camp and just murder everyone, like, without the ship and without the crew. I prefer to just solo destroy everybody. I hate it when my crew steals my kills. So in terms of that, I actually think the gameplay is quite enjoyable for Wrath of the Druids in Ireland. Like, it's actually an enjoyable experience. There's a lot of, like, things to do and find. I do feel like they do pull a lot of, like, weird things where, like, okay, cool, you need this? Oh, but you gotta go there. And they're adding, like, extra kind of game time to something where they shouldn't. Like, why do I need to run all the way down there just to go get something there? And it feels like they took out a lot of extra activities that you could do. Like, it's weird that they left the Crone Stones in, because a lot of people were like really mad with the Crone Stones, but they didn't bring back the kind of like, the standing stones thing where you have to like stand at the right angle to make something line up. It's a bit weird. It felt like they only added a few things that they needed. And what happened to the rhyming? Like, there was no rhyming at all. You can't tell me that people in England and in Norway were all doing rhyming battles, but in Ireland they weren't. It feels like they left a bunch of stuff out, like it definitely feels like it was a little bit rushed and it was only like half completed and they didn't put their all into it. You can only see the effort in those last few boss fights that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Once you get there, honestly, you've completed this expansion, this DLC right over here, Wrath of the Druids. Once you've done those two boss fights, it's done, dude. That is it. That's all you have to see. That is what this expansion is. Like, that's like the most fun part about it. The rest is kind of just like all downhill or just average and basically done at that point. So you're kind of just waiting for the next game or for the next update to come out. So if we answer my final question, was the expansion Wrath of the Druids fun? I gotta say, it started out like really interesting. Okay, cool, new world. It's like when we went to Vinland for the first time. It's exciting, it's different. It's like, okay, cool, what's the story here, right? It started good, and then in the middle, it was kind of like it lackluster and felt like it was really just unexciting. It was like very like, it felt like a loading time. Like, we're just loading all the way to get to the end point, and then like I said earlier, the end of the game was the best part. The end of Wrath of the Druids was the best part of the game. So the beginning is interesting, the middle is kind of like, it's alright, and the end is like, boom! Like, at least it has that impact. And yeah, that is what I think about Wrath of the Druids on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What do you guys think about the Wrath of the Druids? If you're still playing through it, if you're finished with it, let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts? I'll see you guys in a future video. Thanks for watching.